On Inferno, Renegades off to the CT start. Mousesports, I believe they were the ones that picked to start things off over on T. Going to smoke molly for a core. Dexter with a double flash and smoke for him. The defuse kit for CeRq over on the Renegades side. Straight out towards banana control. It's Frozen that will be taking first contact against Ins here. He's back passive behind the broken wall. They're not going to overextend, and Mousesports aren't going to go hyper aggressive here.
Yeah, flash coming in towards banana position. Ins missing a couple of pistol shots down towards the B players, and unfortunately, we haven't really seen too much damage coming in so far, and Ins is just going to decide to play a little bit more passive. Jiggle peek onto the angle. A decent attempt coming through from Renegades to initiate that opening fight, but it's still back down to a 5 versus 5.
A slow start of this one. No opening kills found. A little bit of damage done to the teaser Mousesports. But can they turn those and convert them into frags is the real question. In's going to try hunt for another good kill on Dexter. Take out the former Renegades man himself. He's just going to take a bit of a tag. Again, just not much coming through against Mousesports. These early tags down to 55 on Frozen in the worst case scenario. When do they go for the execute? They've got a single smoke, a secondary one put out there towards the cross position on towards Coffins. Alistair can't body block it, and PGK still flicks to the head of Dexter. Starts things off, drops that bomb. Backline to Ins, hold down against VMAS next up, tapping through against the core and drops him the same. As Mousesports ripped apart towards the entries. Looks like this pistol might go the way of Renegades, but Frozen at least holds the fight.
Now, there's a lurk play coming in towards the A side too from ropz. Now they can just bring that bomb back over. What a recovery this has been from Mousesports, but they need ropz to be able to just find a little bit more. Already a rotate coming in from CeRq out from library with that kit in play. The banana players are trying to charge down, but they just missed the timing on that bomb, and CeRq's now found another.
At least they get the money bonus here. They might not win the pistol. He does get that one frag. Tapping through the next player with the headshot angle. Does isolate Ins and take him back. The same two frags, needing to get a 4K. Actually, one more player left in CeRq at this stage. Frozen's really turned this around, but CeRq with a jumping shot. Domes him immediately. Gets the defuse in for Renegades.
Oh, that looked really dicey towards the end. What a hold that was over at the B side between Ali and Ins. We saw that they were able to have quite a complete force buy from Mousesports, but they've got that AK in play.
I wonder what the plan is. I never really support these kind of buys because it just lopsides the economy so much. I'm never really a big progenitor of it. Mousesports have opted to go with, as you mentioned, not quite a hero AK setup, but as close to one as you can get without forcing the issue. The Eagles down on several other players, so could do some damage. And again, down to these very passive defaults, much more passive than previously, over towards the arch side into the banana control. Now just starting to move into banana itself, betting in a little bit of utility from Renegades, and so far so silent from Mousesports.
Quite a lot of SMGs coming through from Renegades. Nade goes up towards a broken wall position. Decent damage onto the T side. Might start to see some of those retake smoke coming through. Mousesports, where do they still want to lean? They've brought pretty much the entire offensive out towards this banana position, and a couple of players can be on a quick rotate. They're going to try and get a bit of a gap over the top of this smoke.
We smoke back down towards this cross position, going to stall for some extra time. No one's going to give away that angle towards Coffins. Will Ins try and rotate away from this position? You can see his movement there on the site is going to get closer to the T side, but not given the angle they're hunting for. A third smoke goes down from the Renegades here, and they are just keeping them suppressed. How are Mousesports going to respond to this? Rotation maybe inbound towards the A site as the bomb makes its way out banana.
Yeah, that's perfect util. We actually saw CeRq swapping spots out with Alistair over at that B side just to be able to get another resmoke in, and now Mousesports are leaning into the A offensive.
Here on the defensive, SMG burst through, counter flash keeps him blind enough to keep Frozen in check. Not quite a casualty yet for Mousesports. For 13 seconds, they've got a hatch real quick, and a bomb plant will go down relatively quickly. And Malta and Hack's going to get these kills together. Quick frag on the SMGs, on the USPs. 1 kill, 2 kills come back from front actually, but now got to go down before time. Still gets a third frag of his own right, but falling after time is going to hurt the economy even more so. Great stuff from him so far in this game, but it's not enough for Mousesports.
Yeah, this makes the buy even more awkward now. Like, if there would have been that money coming through, then it would have looked okay. He might just even be on a deagle. Everyone else from AKs, I mean, you might even see Dexter chucking him over that rifle and taking a pistol instead. And Renegades having some great utility out towards that B side. And even for CeRq, not quite committing to that duel out from long, instead falling back, playing passive, running down that clock. And Frozen's even just going to be on a clock coming into the third round.
Matter went down after time, so buying the head, Kevlar leaves not enough for any sort of pistol. Flashbang at best for him, and that was going to be his basic 7B utility. Surprised no one's passed off the AK to him, considering how good he's been with this so far in the first couple of rounds. Yes, it's early doors, but you want to capitalize on that early momentum if a player starts to pop off. It was AK, of course, picked up in the last round on Alistair this time. SMG on 3 other individuals for the Renegades side. Happy to play this one out as a bonus round.
Alistair actually looking to get quite aggro around this brackets position. Mousesports have already gained that top banana control. A couple of renades coming in to at least try and slow that down, retake that control. Mousesports, though, you've got to wonder, with the limited util they have, Jay, with sort of like the wall of smokes and just a couple of flashes, maybe just going in for a simple set XE might be the best chance. Try and see if they could just get a moto smoke down, wrap into the A site. Renegades have still got a lot of this utility, and if Mousesports run down the clock again, those incendiaries could slow it down even further.
Smoke on. Incendiary of CeRq. 30 seconds left. Mousesports pressing forward. ropz trying to find an angle to work with here. The flashbangs go over. The bomb planter gets dropped immediately by Alistair. Simple kill with the backup player. In hats, burst back on Dexter. Does find one trade and Frozen finds the second. So bomb can get picked up and planted, and eventually Mousesports will force the issue.
A bit of a misread there coming out from Renegades. They brought CeRq over to almost gamble stack up that B site as soon as the execution came in from long. And the two players on the side between Hats and Alistair were just sort of picked off between one another. Do they decide to go in for this retake? There's not a lot of money. They might just look for some extra kills and try and save onto these weapons. Mousesports going to get their first round up on the board.
And again, bonus round, but Renegades don't have a lot of cash to work with, so I might have to concede this one. Try and play with those MP9s in the next one. Might be able to drop some weapons, but not a lot of lost bonus. Taking one player out, that's pretty big. No nades for the back here, unfortunately. Inz is going to try to sacrifice himself. Doesn't get taken out for it and doesn't get any casualties. Dexter alive at 2 points of health, and CeRq can't make his way up to position in time. So one round from Mousesports. Renegades, money's looking a bit awkward now.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that hunt, if I'm going to be completely blunt, Jay. Like, I think that holding on to them would have at least just brought some more weaponry forward. They've been reset, so they're going to have to eco now going into round 4. They're not quite buying down completely. Hats is, and CeRq buying down low, but Inz, Malta, and Alistair at least trying to give themselves a little bit of money in the reserve. Mousesports starting things up with the opening gun round going their way. Nade coming down towards Banana. One thing that Mousesports have done pretty consistently over the course of this first half is retake Banana control later in the rounds rather than initially, so those nade stacks might not be able to find too much damage if so. And you've just got to think the AKs over the pistols in this kind of a round, Jay. Should be easy pickings.
You say that, and the utility placement from Renegades is particularly good. Dexter on 32, BMAS on 57. Mousesports forced away from Banana by the virtue of 2 HEs. The third one still in play for CeRq as well, over to the long position. You mentioned him getting aggro to the brackets control previously. Smoke down against him, nice nade up. Does not quite connect towards the likes of Dexter. Very close though from him.
Yeah, these nades have been very on point in terms of just consistent chip damage, whether they've been big HEs or little ones in the sense of damage. Like, they're consistently taking points away. Mousesports, we have not really seen anything quick from them, right? It's really been slow, very passive on the defaults, and Alistair's even just been able to swing out from the short position, find that first pick. A good start coming out for the Renegades, and look how low the time is. Surely this has got to be a fake towards B, bring that bomb over to A.
Third round in the row that Mousesports have run the timer to nothing, and now they're losing players very quickly. Dexter got to push forward. Hats. 13 seconds nade. In's going to go down. Hats takes that CZ straight to the back of BMAS. A call with a secondary kill. Eagle on sight for Alistair. Just falling against the bomb planter, and that frag secures it. Of course, got to save the AK as Renegades chime right back. Really not a good start here for Mousesports.
It's too slow. It's just too slow. It's too gimmicky. And we sort of saw what Mousesports were trying to attempt there with 4 players alive. They have 2 over towards the top of Banana. They try and pull the rotates, and no one's rotating. Ali is staying out towards near the site, towards that short position. And then you've got Hats in Boiler, who's hearing the footsteps up from mid. So while they try to have sort of a very fakey style of play there to pull the rotates over, the information gathering was perfect for the Renegades. And now we're seeing another one of those hero sort of AK kind of buys. ropz dropping over an AK to A-Core.
Loving these kind of setups, but they haven't worked well for Mousesports so far. It's in to take out Dexter to start things off in this round. M4 straight through the smoke, dropping the IGL. And Renegades backing off here into this banana control. I say that, and Malta sticks around to get another good kill on BMAS. Frozen can trade it, but that's 2 for 1. Again, favor to the CT side. Renegades have ins left alone towards the B side, but backup is on the way.
Yeah, CeRq's unfortunately only got an MP9 in this sort of situation, but at least got a little bit of util behind him to try and slow the play down. Maybe a bit quicker here coming out from Mousesports, going in for the B side XE. Nade coming in, doing a bit of damage onto ropz. And Mousesports looking like they just want to commit to the B side play.
Oh, good tag on a core. Not a massive amount of damage, but it tags him to 74 at least. Sicko just going to bait in with the SMG at long range, try and draw their attention from the other side. Incendiary down from the player at the back lines as Alistair makes his way up through mid and second, and seeing nothing of the T side. It's going to be a 4-plus beat for him, and Sicko with the SMG spraying through, doing not enough damage to get the kill. And he will take down a core in the end, but Frozen takes his deagle straight to the head of ins. Bomb plant can be secured in a 2 versus 2. They're heavily tagged here.
Finally, a decent post plant coming in for Mousesports, but you're right about the tag damage. ropz incredibly low. Alistair already clearing out the top of banana position. Hard angle check coming in towards a construction angle, and ropz is going to be able to connect with the M4. All down to Alistair, no. His position now, no. Main G coming through into the site, and Frozen is going to be able to deliver with a round from Mousesports.
On paper, the rifle should clean this up.
No, you sort of wonder if we're going to see anything hyper-aggressive coming out from Renegades. Like, they've been pretty passive on the city bases too. They haven't taken banana control, haven't pushed down mid. Outside of that last round from Alistair clearing out second mid to get the gamble rotation over to B. A lot of utility coming in towards this porch position. Ali, pushing forward. Is any T-side member expecting this?
Can he get to position in time, though? They push so far forward into the apartments and brackets that he can't quite find an angle. If the bomb planter makes his way in from mid or second, there could be an opportunity for him to get the kills. ropz starting to clear angles, though, so he's just got to face in the right place at the right time. Is he watching Boiler? He's watching the doorway, and they're going to go right past him. This could be a backstab to try and counteract the execution.
Now, this could be big. If there's enough of a distraction pulled away, but ropz checks it. Alistair looked like he had the positional advantage, but no, not at all. Mousesports start off, and now they commit their play out from long.
Trying to force ins away, damage done to BMAS and Frozen. Spray on, Sicko's going to fall, ins next to drop, Malta and Hats, the last 2 players left. Hats on site, trying to turn up this SMG, but can't do anything with it. And Malta left alone, shut down by the AWP of a core, and all 5 alive for Mousesports. Okay, now we are going.
Yeah, look, that's a much more convincing round going the way of Mousesports, and I think that's what we wanted to see, right? Renegades had a pretty decent lean, I want to say, towards the A side, positional-wise. Certainly Alistair looked like he could have been the undetected entity, but Mousesports do tie up the scoreline. Frozen's having a pretty decent game so far. 11 kills to him. Only 1 for the in-game leader of Mousesports of Dexter. Getting off to a bit of a slow start, but I suppose BMS is as well. And at least they start to close the gap. Couple of rounds in a row now for Mousesports, 3-3.
Yeah, basics out from Renegades. Go just take this one on the chin. Flashes in. Only got Alistair here towards this short position. Going to back off the site. Could overwhelm BMAS for the sheer numbers game they have here on the CT camp. He does get that 1 kill on ins. Anything more to go his way? He's got a flash out position and try and see if he can bail himself out. He's got no backup here. Going to end up with a rifle if they're not careful. And indeed, BMAS does go down. So 1 AK can persevere for Renegades. And Mousesports converging on Alistair. Just have to take him down and the round is theirs.
Yeah, just keep the AK in play. Don't really look for exits, might be the best bet. They clear out Alistair very easily towards the site. So, Malta and Hats, last couple left for Renegades. Mousesports now starting to take a lead, getting a bit of a streak going, getting some momentum. And the one thing they've really got going for them is the economy state, Jay. There are a few players on this Mousesports side, Frozen and ropz in particular, that have a lot of cash behind them. And Renegades have got to get a way back in. And we haven't even seen AWPs coming forward for the Renegades just yet. We've seen Acor have a couple of rounds on that city side. It'll be interesting to sort of see how that pans out for the Renegades, whether they decide to have Sicko as a main AWP, whether they have Alistair as a main AWP. Something we're kind of talking about a little bit in the pregame is those sort of unknown statements role-wise with the latest roster moves.
Lead found by Mousesports. Also only gotten so much done in the last few rounds. 2 kills for him into round 8. Maybe the AWP is the thing that's holding him back. You know, maybe this is the opportunity now to really bolster himself going forward. Playing on towards the site here on the B play, going out from short onto the mid control, trying to get aggro once again here, but can't quite spot any of the T-side forces. They've gone mostly towards Banana.
This is a lot quicker coming out from Mousesports in their banana take and not taking any HEs in response. One thing we have seen from the anchors, normally Ins and Sicko playing out from B, is actually those late nades coming forward. Now, it's only Malta and Ins over a B this time around. And Mousesports just running out their default. They've got a lot of map territory here. You've already got ropz very pushed up in towards the apartment's control. And taken Broken Wall too. And leaving that bomb straight down in T-spawn. Wide angle coming out from Cirq with the AWP.
Focus drawn towards the brackets control. Player in apartments is going to be the main player here towards the A site for Mousesports. The other 4 set into the banana position. And again, this timer will look to run low. ropz will move up. He's come down M4, blind spray in totally for something, couldn't do anything with it. Malta on the move spot, gets himself 1 kill before he traded back by the AWP. Does burn a core at least beyond the grave, so there's a fight and a 3-on-2, but 3-on-2 still favour the Mousesports. Bomb plant be secured, Renegades not even in rotation positions. Gonna hold back towards this A play, hold on to the rifles one more time as Mouse start to stack up the lead.
Yeah, look, instant save coming out from the city side, and that was just a beautiful round from Mousesports. They have a late lurk in from Boiler from ropz to cut off rotations. They go in for the B site XE, and you can see what Ins is trying to do there. Get up close and personal with that smoke, gets completely blinded, and from there, it's just an easy opening kill. They cut off one of the rotates. Malta does a really good job being boosted up from nawwk to find a couple of kills, but he needs so much more than that if they want to actually make this retake doable. ropz even going to try and go hunting, see if he can just do a little bit more damage as an exit. Hands out towards his pit position, could be swung on. But he's going to be at least behind some cover. Mousesports now, Jay. Very similar, I want to say, to how big were in that first best of one we had against the Movistar Riders, is that once they got going, once they found some rounds together, that's where they show their dominance. This is now 4 rounds in a row for Mousesports.
Much better performance from the early game where Renegades really kept it to him. And now the money is completely bolstered for Mousesports. $12,000 on ropz post buy, 8 grand on the float for most other players, 4,000 the minimum for BMAS. And it's Sicko that starts things off with a pick straight up towards the mid control, getting that frag together. One more player was there in Brackus, who's going to get forced back with the smokes down the incendiaries. Not going to be able to get these kills together. Grabbed an AK for their trouble, so a good start here from Renegades.
Yeah, that's what they want on such a scrappy buy like this, where you've only got 2 rifles in play. Just see if you can do some further damage. ropz now starting to push forward of the apartments, and look at the gamble stack coming in. They've rotated pretty much everyone out towards the A side, just leaving Malta to be the single entity out from B. And Sicko's going to get another AWP pick. Hat's now getting involved. It's down to just 2 players left on the T side.
Fear the Deagle. Fear the AWP. The AK perhaps Ins straighting forward, going to get shut down by Frozen, so that's an entry now towards the B site, and it's only Malta to hold the back lines from the back corner here at nawwk. He's going to play this passively and carefully, not going to opt to go so far forward as to extend. Gap in that smoke might open things up towards Banana. They better check that position. No one is going to be seen. It's all on Malta. Wraparounds coming through from Alistair. The Eagles down 2. Can't take Frozen down. Second face also going to miss his bullets, get the body shots together. So Frozen can eventually get that kill. Now flashes over as Alistair moves up with the AWP. Going to get blinded. The bomb plant can be secured from here.
2v2 retake underway, and now we're seeing Alistair on this AWP. Both players from the city side coming in from the banana position. They've got a smoke and a kit to work with. Mousesports just not peeking at all. Out towards Dark and nawwk. They can peek on each other's contact. And Bomb's starting to get ticked for a little while now. No mollies to try and force them out to the open.
Bomb so planted for them here. One player swings out from the back. Frozen. Playing off B-Mass here. 30 HP for him. Smoke off against this player so they can try something to do if they want to. But Frozen still gets that kill. Spray it back. Hats gets one strike. Frozen just trying to hold the time. Get his quadra in this round. And that's exactly what he does. Saving the AWP and all. And a big clutch there for Mousesports.
Yeah, look, that's a really vital round, and you almost felt that, like, Malta kind of let them down a little bit, right? They had a big advantage in that 3v2. They didn't know about him out from nawwk, and even a flash comes over from the rotator in Banana. He peeks with it, struggles to find the connection to not hold on to the advantage any further. Frozen is being a thorn in their backside, Jay. He is having an insane performance in this best of one. 16 kills in just 9 rounds. You've got to think that he's going to be getting closer and closer to 30 as this best of one continues.
He's already surpassed the 15 before the turn of the half. And if Renegades can keep pace, there'll be more opportunities for him to get even more frags. But right now, Mousesports are in full control. I believe this is 5 rounds in a row for this squad here. Double AWP set up in for Renegades and Ins and CeRq as they try and change the pace, but they've been given no opportunities to do so here.
And even their setup out from B is so passive. You've got Ins playing out from Pillar with the AWP and Malta just trying to back him up with utility from CT Spawn. An aggressive apartment approach coming through, but that's not really going to help them with anything. They need to rotate in, and Alistair could be that man, but it all comes down to the timing on how quickly the T's push forward.
Work on cross, spray through on Malta. Ins there with the AWP shot, connects towards 1. Alistair follows suit on Dexter. 5 versus 3. Now Nades on a cord doing even more damage. Ins might get forced away by the molly. Indeed he does, but repositions to another side of the site. Backlines, AWP seen above the smoke, straight through Malta, catches the core next up, and Mousesports falling to pieces here in execution. Malta making it a double, dropping that bomb, and a triple on the peak, and a flashbang in. Beautiful stuff from Renegades. All
position, able to find a nice 3K with Ins backing him up with that AWP. A little bit interesting to actually see Ins being the one picking up that secondary AWP rather than Alistair. Maybe drawing on that point a little bit more that he is sort of transitioning into a main rifler role rather than a secondary AWP hybrid. And Dexter taking an early nade down. Nades coming through in towards logs. Won't do any further damage, but a good start with the utility again from Renegades.
CeRq's AWP out here towards the long position. Hoping for a contact peek and a pick, but nothing going his way so far. Again, the passive defaults from Mousesports, this slow style of play that has come to hurt them over the course of this matchup. But it doesn't give Renegades an opening advantage. They've got their HE down on Dexter, which again has done plenty. He's still in play, leading his teammates up into the A site, leading the charge both in terms of position and the roll. Tag up to 32, though, he continues to drop.
Yeah, very slow here coming out from Mousesports, looking like they want to try and crunch their way into brackets, see if they can keep forcing the CTs further and further more deep into the site. Malta even backing up away from B, and CeRq might get caught in reposition, getting very aggressive out from long. He's got a very wide angle, he's got Malta to try and back him up.
Peek in, shot missed. Dexter with his back turn will look towards Cadian, now look towards Arch. CeRq still holding position, so if he wants to cross, he's got to bait in the AWP. He's got no utility to do so. The nades up in the apartments, though, doing a ton of damage. Finally, Dexter falls to CeRq. Hat gets a kill on ropz next to Faze. 3 players remaining for Mousesports. One can be secured. Malta's going to try deny to see his man to take him down. One can be secured, so Mousesports won't suffer to the money damage as a core left with the AWP. Gets 3 kills. Now on to Ace. Clutch this for Mousesports, creeping up towards the smoke, getting ahead of it, and now on site, hearing footsteps, straight in, shot missed out, these 2 can't land the headshot still, and eventually is overwhelmed with a numbers game. CeRq with his own 3K wins the round for Renegades.
The Battle of the AWPers coming in right towards the end of that round. Great retake in from Renegades. A-Court Malta to overwhelm the last player from the T side of a court. A couple of missed AWP shots come out from the T side, and Renegades find their 5th. That's going to take a little bit of pressure off them, and being able to win a couple more rounds in a row now. The thing is, where is the backup? Where is the consistency here for the CT side? Well, for Mousesports, I'm kind of surprised, Jay. We haven't really seen that change of pace. We haven't seen that faster play come through.
Been slow from the word go, to their success or to their detriment. I'm going to stick by this game plan, and so be it. Mousesports to the mid control. Flashes and smokes go out towards taking early brackets control. Malta with the M4 already ready to swing. He smokes off position, trying to suppress the T's, but flashes go over. He's forced off back towards the fountain angle. Brehze on BMAS does not do much damage, does not get the kill in for certain. Mousesports stalled by this utility, but still willing to push ahead of it here. Malta in a fight position, could be able to take down several players, but he's also blinded off by utility himself.
Oh, there's a boost coming through out from Moto. This could be Sicko dealt with. Gap over the top of the smoke, and Dexter finds that first pick onto Alistair. Sicko with the response with the NMP! Finds a couple of kills with Ham backing him up. Frozen and ropz out. The last couple left as they keep the play going into the A site, and the entries are perfect. It's back to a 2 versus 2.
Frozen faking a bomb plant, gonna try force the issue on Malta, that might cost them as they drop the bomb once again. It's all on ropz, and in has his angle. Big play from Sicko with the AWP, managing to connect 2 incredible shots there on the site defense. Heavy amount of pressure on Mousesports, and they choke underneath it. ropz should have gone for that bomb plant there, that would have given them more breathing room. But no, fighting in a 2 versus 2, and Renegades to a 6-all now. They have equalized against Mousesports. Momentum on the European side has been shut down.
Yeah, they're making this competitive. That was such a sick hold from Sicko. Probably one of the best holds we've seen so far from him over the course of this best of 1. Nades coming through out from Banana. This could do some damage, and it does. The nades coming through onto BMAS. They don't quite do enough onto everybody else, but now it's a 5-on-3. In's starting to feel it with the NWP now at B.
Held the final kill of the last round a moment ago, now getting 3 in this one. HG 2 up shots. Sicko gets involved on the other side of the map as Frozen falls at brackets, and ropz, well, he's left alone. Does get 1 good shot on Sicko at least. Can start things off one enough here on the T-side line, but there's such little to work with. Incendiary's down, forced out to the mid control. Molotovs to block him off. No bomb control, and a rifle to work with on the AWP, sure, but he needs to come up with a ridiculous clutch to win this.
Yeah, they didn't bring the bomb with them, did they? Still left out towards T-Spawn and ropz. Best thing that he can hope for is damage here. Maybe try and hold on to this AWP is also an option. It depends on how hungry Renegades want to get to actually look for this fight. I mean, I suppose when the time starts going down to 15, 10 seconds left, maybe they might start a bit more of an aggressive approach. Oh, good shot from ropz. It gives away his position, but it's further damage.
Knock his way behind the likes of Malta, though. He's pushed up towards brackets, now covering off the boiler position. ropz should know this player's here, or at least somewhere thereabouts. Is he going to go away any information? Doesn't look like he will. Going to go back for the bomb. Got a challenge on Ins, though. Holding the angle. Shot missed out from the CT player. Now they know where he is, though. 15 seconds for ropz. Got to save the weapon. Does get himself a 3rd kill on the exits, and now the CTs are not going to face him. They know that he hasn't got time to get to the site, so if he tries to go for it, take him out after time. If not, he can hold on to that rifle. We have our round 7 to the board of Renegades in the lead above Mousesports again.
Now, that's a ridiculously important round for Mousesports in the sense of what it gains, right? Like, yeah, they don't win the round, but for an eco where they hardly have any of investment, they're able to get away with 3 kills and an AWP. That's going to help the buy going forward into the late rounds in this first half. But you're right, lead going over to the Renegades. Going into round 14, it really feels like these double AWPs now between Ins and Sicko are starting to find their consistency, starting to find their form. Ali putting a nade down towards a Mexi position. Looked like it could have been a bit of an aggressive approach to start off. Malta taking a little bit of damage over from B. And Mousesports at least looking like they want to take brackets a lot earlier in the round than what they have done previously.
Being suppressed by more utility from Renegades' side. They've lost quite an amount of map control, but they're still trying to hold it what they can. Fast plays in from one player out, straight through the smoke. Frozen gets that 1 frag. Unable to deal with Sicko, though. A great response on the AWP. Haps follows suit with the M4. And Dexter, now at mode, so keeping his eyes on looking up towards the apartment. Malta will catch off Dexter next, and BMAS can respond towards him. So 1 trade to a 3-on-2. And Bomb making its way back here with the AWP alongside it. Ins is watching the Banana entrance. Will take down that bomb planter. And a core Left alone in a 1-on-3. Gonna need to 3K clutch this if he wants to try and win this round for Mouse.
Yeah, he's going to go for it rather than try and save. See if he can bait out the AWP from Inns out towards the Spool's position. Shot comes through, more information comes out. Now, Inns needs to play passive here. He overextends and gives up his life. That's an opportunity now for the clutch to come through. Bomb plant coming in. Inns not quite overextending. Rotate still coming in.
Scope in, footstep heard, turn away from the flashbang, open towards the main position. The bomb will go down. Gonna force him back towards tree, and just too many angles to check from there. Hats will close it out for Renegades to get the half, 8-6, and I am impressed. I am impressed by this side. They have managed to double ops out for Inns and CeRq. 1 AK for Hats to play with. Let's see where they go about this here. Mousesports, what's the change? How are they going to switch things up? What's the adjustment after the tactical pause? Into banana control early again, but just as passive as usual, it seems, for Mouse.
Yeah, Malta going in for a bit of an aggressive approach towards the top of banana. Swing comes through from Bamus, and it's so dry. Inns even comes through to peek together. 5-on-3 advantage coming through. Mousesports peeked in towards the top of banana without really any utility. A great couple of opening finds for Renegades, and that's now going to push Mousesports into A.
Beautiful crossfire held by Inns and Malta, and Mousesports run straight into it. Or backed up, 3 players into the mid positions. And brackets control is established by Mousesports, but passively. 1 player watching the backline in case Inns want to overextend, but they have no need to do so here, Renegades. At the 2-man advantage, 100 HP across the entire CT board. Time ticking away on Mousesports. They've got to force the issue.
And we've seen how solid Inns has been as that solo anchor at B time and time when it's actually been the rotate back over to the B side. 4 players here. You even wonder whether this cubby position from Malta's going to get checked. Acor looked like he wanted to try and get up onto the porch position. Doesn't quite land it. And Malta's able to line them up. Acor now the last one left. And there it is. A 9-6 up.
Well, Renegades have held their own against Mousesports, taken an advantage, and now with a serious opportunity to potentially pull an upset on the table here to the T side line. They will go. Mousesports up to the pistol start, looking to shut down the early mid control from Hats and Co. 4-man stack into the A brackets position, and Hats breaks the openings kill.
Oh, what a start coming through from Hats. Just a wide swing out for the P250 and maybe even looking in for a little bit more. Looks like he's going to be able to try and entry out this brackets position. Now, there is a big bait setup coming through from Mousesports. 3 players out of the brackets. Contact, Acor, Frozen working together. But it's Hats and CeRq to find the trades. Frozen still alive, and he's dropped that bomb now back to a 2 versus 2.
Hats will fall back though. Frozen looking for the last headshot on Malta. Gets back to some decent cover and now needs 2 kills to clutch it. Flashbang evaded, block out, can't land the headshot, got plenty of time. That flick's good. The second one, not so much. Dexter forced back to 50 points of health. Malta winning out a slight advantage. And now going to go back to the default box. He sees his man, taps it again, sees it at Cubby. Now forced to get the bomb one, but no, he continues to bait, do some more damage, and getting closer and closer to winning out this fight for the clutch out.
Oh!
He finally wins it. And Renegades have 10 to the T side. A big, big pistol win for them.
Oh, that's massive. What a battle of the 1 versus 1. Malta up against Dexter. And look, what a start that was for Mousesports. Trades coming back in. It looked like Frozen had really tiptoed the scales there. 3 kills up for him. But Malta is the one to clutch out to get Renegades into double digits, winning the pistol. A great start in the second half, Jay. And a lot of SMGs coming forward, but it is going to be a force buy out for Mousesports.
Into mid control, onto the apartment's position. Nades on from Malta's part. No damage done to Mousesports at this stage. Back towards the boiler position. 2 players to brackets, 2 more over at the B site. Contact from Frozen. Forced away from the incendiary put down by Renegades. And they're playing just as careful at default, but a lot more active here in the setup.
Yeah, Mousesports are certainly having a bit more of a lean out towards the A side. Maybe try and flash Frozen in towards the top of Banana. In's not blinded at all. Great find to get that first opening pick, and then going to commit. Dexter on the other side. There's Smoke trying to line them up to get a couple of kills with the Deagle, but only on for 2. It's back to even playing fields, and now the bomb can get planted for Renegades.
Open on the Coffin's position. 2 CTs coming in from the CT spawn. Resmoke can go down towards Cross just as the first one starts to clear. And CeRq holding position as ropz moves up with the deagle. Hats shoulder baiting, sees one piece of utility coming his way as a smoke down that will siphon off the player of Banana. He pushes forward of it though. Matt ready to receive. Mousesports have no keys. They're going to go for the retake. They're going to go for it now. And ropz takes out one hat, transfers it straight to the second. Viva suddenly left alone, straight through the smoke, suppressed on timer alone. It's going to be an 11 for Renegades, regardless of how well he plays in this position. And at least they get away with an AK.
Oh, that is a really nice spray transfer coming through from Hats, just committing to it out towards Coffins and Nubox. And Mousesports on the force buy don't really find a lot of success. It looked like it was a good start to the rounds, at least coming through from their in-game leader of jaCkz. Unfortunately, only getting a couple of kills, pushing up aggressively behind that smoke. Renegades pushing their lead forward. And what a momentum shift this has been. We saw, what, 5 rounds in a row at one point for Mousesports. And now this has been 8 in a row from Renegades. And some of them have looked very, very convincing.
There's no one standout player from Renegades that's doing an amazing job. They're all doing fantastic at the moment.
Yeah.
Having a real good game. I can't say the same for Mousesports, though. There are some players that are still on single digits at this stage. Oh, Frozen naded back out here towards Cross, just back off to the CT spawn position. And now Renegades start to go passive, realizing that Mousesports could be in a dangerous position. They could have forced another buyback here, knowing they've done so much damage to the T's. Any casualty could be huge for them.
Yeah, any damage is good damage, you've got to think, right? Peek out from brackets, Sicko finds that first pick, forcing Mousesports further and further away. He even got a bit of alert coming through from ins out from the B site, maybe try to see if he could pull some rotates back over, or even commit that bomb too as well. And Dexter's alone over at B. They've rotated Frozen back over to Speedway on CT spawn. If Renegades pounce now, this could be the perfect opportunity to really open up an empty bomb site.
Dexter tapping, smoke against his position, Inns checking out the boost spots and can't see anybody here, not even a flower pot. Alistair catching Dexter at the end of the smoke. Frozen does get one kill back to return it, so a 4 versus 3. Still favourable to the Renegades side. One CT close, one more backing up to this stage. A third man still late to the rotation here for mid control. One plant secure towards Coffins one more time. At this point, Renegades just holding back the back lines. They might get an exit fragger in a core. 17 HP for him though. He's very susceptible to trade.
Yeah, Renegades just pushing forward. Dealing with this eco really successfully. Losing that single player of Alistair. And yeah, just some exits trying to come out. A-Core won't quite be able to find anything with that USP. So Frozen and ropz just going to hold on to that head Kevlar. They've got a UMP to bring forward if they want. Probably will be upgraded to an M4. ropz trying to see if he can do some further damage, hearing some of these footsteps towards the bottom of Banana. Chance for him to swing out, but wants to be quite passive about it. 12 on the board now for Renegades, 4 rounds away from being able to start their campaign off in the play-in straight with a victory in the first round of the best of ones.
I'm starting to regret my earlier comments made about Mousesports absolutely decimating Renegades in this one. I'm sure secretly you're gloating alongside the rest
Everyone
of the
heard
watching
it.
This. I don't deny what I say. I own it, but you know, it's just like one of those things. Like I should have seen this coming. Mousesports ripped apart here on T side so far. The rifles are back out for round 19 though. This is their chance to stand and fight. This is their chance to put the hurt back on Renegades. And you can see how quickly they take brackets control. Calling out the 7 points of health. Has to rely on ropz to bail him out. And he gets a double in fact. Hat's not checking out the apartment's control. Now Frozen gets involved, takes out Inns. 2 standing, 1 standing. Bolts are standing alone. The Galil can only get so much. A core takes him out through the wallbang headshot. I believe they just predicted through the apartment's window. And that's Mousesports getting a start on CT.
Look, that was a much-needed round for a while from Mousesports. So convincing, too. It almost looked like A-Core had gone too aggressive, right? He was sort of positioned out from short, looking to get in towards that bracket sideline, falling back, and the MAC-10s just start running forward. The T-side think that they can capitalize him, repositioning back to the side, but it's straight into the bait between ropz and Frozen on the side defensive. A really good hold coming out from ropz in particular, out from the apartments. Mousesports, well, that's going to help themselves, take a little bit of pressure off the back of them. Still got quite a road to go, though, to try and tie up the scoreline. A-Core Does he wide swing the angle or just hold a tight one? Because he's not overextending with this AWP.
Backed off towards this Royler position, trying to hold that entryway. Hans will get the opening kill on Dexter. But trade does come through thanks to the Molotov damage. So all in all, we stand at a pretty even position, 4v4. Similar HP done towards Ins and Frozen, everybody else on 100. Renegades passive-aggressive here in this particular default. They have isolated a kill, forced the CTs back, but they've also lost trying to gain.
A decent start in that one-on-one trade from the Renegades. Mousesports now will at least have to reposition Acor to a different angle, getting smoked off from long, now starting to move back over to Moto. Good molly comes through to at least try and slow the play down, but this is going to be an A commitment. It doesn't look like it's going to be a fake at all. That single player with Ins look like running back over towards B, and ropz just swings out to the open.
Now Akor's left alone on the site, needs backup to rotate in real quick. BMAS is the man on his way, but the T's can act before he gets here. Smoke on will keep him suppressed from long. Akor gets that first kill. Scope in on the second, lands it. syrq close towards default, picks in, and Akor takes the triple, now up against Alistair, backs up to the box corner, and 10 seconds for him to clutch this. It would be a 1-3, he's found that pass, but he finds no more. Akor with 4 and 8 rounds from Mousesports.
There we go. What a hold coming out from Acor. And it really looked like that they'd kind of thrown away the advantage there. ropz wide swinging out from the short position, and Acor steps up. What a play with the AWP to find a 4K and get Mousesports yet another round. Oh my goodness, Jay. He might now start to explode.
Seeing Frozen dominating the kill feeds here for Mousesports, but Akor showing he's still got something to play for. And the damage sustained by Renegades puts them on eco for this next round. Akor getting yet another kill. Nays distracted by flashbangs. Renegades at least going to catch off some players on charge, but firepower isn't there, and the rifle takes them apart. One man left in Alistair, mopped up by ropz, gets his 4K in this one. And Mousesports back on the hype train. Okay, Renegades not quite on victory road just yet, not out of the woods. Still got a challenge ahead of them here. 3 rounds the difference.
I'd really like to see a tactical pause here coming through from Renegades at some point. This has now been not dominant rounds from Mousesports, but you can really start to feel that they're finding their groove now and they're looking more successful. 3 rounds in a row on this CT basis. Renegades now going into the rifle round into 22. Acor going in for a little bit more of a wide peek out from long, down from mid. And gets blinded, takes that shot, doesn't quite connect. Nade stack comes through, could potentially do some damage. Oh, just evades actually that wall. Still does some over to Ins and Hats though.
Speedmaster starts things off in the apartments. Malta getting picked apart. Dexter gets 2 lines up out towards Banana. And now Frozen needs to support his teammates. Dexter's forced back on HP numbers. Mousesports coming alive once again, going to get their momentum swing to try catch up to Renegades, and it looks like this might be another round to their favor. syrq and Alistair with these AKs operating from different positions on the map. One player close to the apartments. BMAS is not letting Alistair get away with that. syrq 1 on 5. And a shutdown round coming through here from Mousesports again.
Good to see Dexter now starting to get involved. We saw the opening kill came through from BMAS, just getting aggressive out for the apartments. 2 over from Broken Wall. What a convincing round for Mousesports. 4 players staying alive. A huge amount of AKs being picked up too. Renegades, well, they might be on max round loss bonus now, Jay, but without that bomb plant, there's nothing they can do. Have to eco yet another round. And Mousesports, they're starting to really close the gap. This was a 12-6 lead. 4 rounds in a row now going the way to the international squad.
Deco out for Renegades. Cover their economy state, try to do some damage. syrq will see 1 player. Can't get the kills on them though. T-side stacking towards this banana position. 2 players I should say, to deal with on the B site. 3 players over on A. But again, it's rifles v pistols. Much more powerful pistols this time. That does dink down Frozen to 8 HP. I'm surprised that wasn't a kill. Regardless, it's a start. Where do Renegades play from here?
I think they just need to try and brute force their way in. And see if they can at least do some more damage. They've already done a really nice scoosh down to Frozen over at the B site, but leaning back into A, there's a strong crossfire being set, at least between the AWP and BMS.
Core crossfiring. It's Alistair that breaks that crossfire, taking out the first player. BMS can't trade it, so 2 for 1. But now ropz strikes, takes out jaCkz next up. One more player out of the apartment, dropping that bomb, making it a tidy 3K. And now we're within 1 of the lead. Renegades can't take that hit given the economy state, but now we have the rifles out. Is the AWP coming in for this T side? We talk about Alistair having it in previous times. He could have brought it down in this round, but no, opting for the full AK to Renegades. And Mousesports, 5 rounds in a row for them. Can they equalize here?
Now pressure starting to build on the back of the Australians. Mousesports are now starting to really bring this back. Even a bit of an aggressive approach coming through from the AWP of A-Court. In's going quite fast up with jaCkz towards the B side, getting those nades down, not quite connecting on towards that sandbag's position. That could have done a lot of damage onto Dexter. And for Mousesports, with that aggressive approach out from mid, not quite finding any sort of sightline with it, they decide to go a little bit more passive and even rotate a third player over to B. That's a big nade, though.
Dexter opens up the kill count, taking Sicko to capitalize on it. In still gets 2 trades, though. That's a 2K. An amount of advantage taken back by the Renegade side. Mousesports a bit overzealous towards Banana, perhaps. Got some trade potential again. Ins is low, jaCkz is tagged. AWP, of course, trying to lean forward and catch some sort of off angle, but nothing being offered up to it. There's one player aggressive, and he does go down to an even trade.
A good shot coming out from a core to trade it back onto jaCkz, and well, that bomb's now gonna have to start to spiral its way in through second mid in the apartments to sort of regroup up with the brackets players. ropz starting to reposition back towards Moto as the T's look to push forward of that smoke. Timing could be everything. No one's watching long. There could be a split into B, perhaps.
You say about the bombs back at the apartments. This feels like an A play from here. Akor's making a lot of noise. Say no contact, 25 seconds. I don't think there's time for a rotation for that bomb to make its way through Banana. And yeah, on towards short they'll go. Molotovs, HE, smokes go down. ropz holding contact alongside BMAS. Flash keeps ropz blind. Although the Renegades, they're going to act real soon. They do get the kill on the first man. M4 BMAS struggling to deal with them as Malta takes both down. Bomb plant secured, and Akor is out of the round.
They run that clock low, but they get those trades instantly. Great entries in towards the site. A-Core now starting to come through. Very winnable in this 1 versus 3 when you consider how low the HP numbers are, but how much of that information is relayed over. And now starting to make a move out from Long and Moto. That smoke's still down. No more utility other than that single flash, though.
Oh, Akor comes up with that kill. Has no idea where Ins is at this stage, though. Sees it in a mini pit, sprayed through. Hasn't got a HE, could have taken him down if he did. Smoke on the bomb. This is very risky. Gonna force him to peek, and Ins will take him down at the 3K, at the point blank position. And Renegades, right? And then Mousesports coming back with what was just 5 rounds in a row there to almost equalize against the T side. Well, Renegades carried us forward to the victory, although Mousesports got a bit more buyback here. Akor down mid with the AWPs, trying to scope in and find somebody. They've gone out towards Mexico position. And second mid into control. It's Akor actually that shuts down Alistair, looking for a very fast brackets take, and it doesn't pay off for the Renegades.
Now, they take a lot of damage in return. They take the map control, they lose that first player. Even jaCkz is down to nearly 50 points of health. Malta might be able to try and swing out for the apartments, get that trade back, but you've got to think there's so much of a site defense already. And 2 players now starting to over-aggress out from long, not seeing any information. And now Renegades leaning over towards that banana control. Very, very light on the utility here for the T's.
Very quiet across Inferno at this moment. One player going to go get this bomb over to the B site. They've got Malta lurking over at the boiler position, leaning out towards brackets, looking onto the A play. Check-in angle, looking towards mini pit. Slowly creeping up to the site. If he catches an angle on one player, that could force a rotation. Smokes go up towards the apartments, and utility comes out towards the B site. Executions on for Renegades. Still this lurker waits patiently. Gonna buy a line in for the rotation. In's gonna try to draw their attention even further out of position. The CTs have not budged from their site and pit positions. One player on Speedway can provide support to both sides. But Akor is watching for the A play. Smoke's on, 3 seen. ropz can take down 1. Smoke back, finds the cover. B-Mass comes in with a flag, takes out a kill on Hat. 2 standing in sicko. Has 7 seconds to plant the bomb. He can't make it happen. And Mousesports clean house once again. Such confidence coming in from these CT rounds.
It's a lack of information from Malta. We see him being the lurk, pressed up really nicely, but we saw in that initial duel, he tried to jiggle out the pit angle, and he didn't see anyone there. So once they pull the distraction over at the B side with the utility, try and bait in the rotations, they don't know that there's anyone in from pit, and that crossfire being set again, ropz and Frozen being so rock solid at the A bomb site. Renegades now gonna be on an eco. Mousesports have got the opportunity of tying up the scoreline, and really, Jay, once we saw the momentum going their way, once they won the pistol, got off to that 3-0 start and had a lead at 12-6, I thought the Renegades were just gonna be able to run away with it, but Mousesports aren't giving in.
Back to the deco for Renegades as a result here. Damage has been done to their economy state. Hand cannons are out to receive. Boost up top by the broken wall. Nade stacks in towards the site. Completely flying over Dexter's head. It's Orpa Frozen that gets that opening kill. Takes out Insta start. And Renegades back off.
Yeah, Malta being sort of their hard lurk on T side gets caught off by 2 players swinging out from long. Akor now with the other AWP starting to fire away. Hat, sicko, and Alistair just trying to see if they could do damage at this point. Ali's already been tagged up to incredibly low numbers. AWP does get blind, so Akor just falls back towards Arch. The Renegades get control out for the brackets, but that nade coming through limits the T side even further.
2 standing in Hats and sicko. On to equalize against the Renegades. 13-all. What a banger of a matchup this one has turned out to be. As the Aussies try and cling on to life in their lead. And Mousesports really have come alive. I mentioned they had to criticize some players for not really showing up. Akor was one of those guys at the turn of the half, but now he's going like the clappers. 22 kills in this matchup. Only behind Frozen at 24 and ropz, who's also resurged up to 26 in 26 rounds. Renegades on the rifles. Here for our 27th. Nade stacks in from the T side, will force players off angle again, not doing much damage here on a utility basis. Got Dexter holding close here towards Banana, has backup right behind him, and he's just trying to drive Renegades away from advanced positions.
Now, Malta gonna get caught off. No! Oh my goodness, what a duel out from Malta. He was actually peeking into the aggressive AWP from Akor that jumped over from apartments to get that aggressive duel. I thought that should have been an easy kill for the city side, but it's actually Malta to find that first pick, deal with the main AWP from the cities, and now start to lead in towards this B side. This might just be a straight BXy once they get control of the top of Banana.
Ready on Frozen, flashed out, fires a shot. Dexter waiting behind the sandbags, gets a kill on 1. Orp needs to reface the back up. He's still at the close range angle. The kill does come through, and they're trying to hold the back lines here. Malta gets a frag, but Frozen makes it a double. The defend against the T side can't quite get Alistair, who jumps around the corner and gets a trade. 1 out of 3 that he needs for this clutch. As well, sees a second man but couldn't connect it, and ropz capitalizes on that mistake. Turns a lead over for Mouse.
Peeking on each other's contact, both the AK from Dexter and then the AWP coming in from Frozen. Alistair tries to get on top of first oranges to get a bit of a peek over the smoke from CT, but just can't win out the fight, can't win out the clutch. ropz even pushing forward to the molly. Look at this aggression for the CTs, trying to tap away onto the bridge player. Mousesports have started off, and so has Akor, 5 on 3.
Secondary AWP over at brackets. Picking one up from the mid control. Now Frozen forced back here with his own AWP. Back Coffins. Playing this contact position as usual. Waiting for someone to face him. Waiting for a frag to be found of his own right. But the T's are backed off from Banana. Gone back towards their mid defaults and are playing around the second mid position. What's the call here, Renegades? You've been shut down on another good entry sequence from ropz and Akor. To go that aggressive towards apartments, make that work. They almost got 2 kills out of it.
Yeah, look, it's a difficult situation. They don't have a lot of map control. Time is relatively low. They've even got a fair bit of util, but how do they work with it? They try and slow walk in, maybe an apps pop. That's something we haven't seen. Alistair can light up some flashes over the top, and they could just dive out from the apartments.
Smokes down, flashes over.
Oh.
Incendios from the CTs to respond. Here they come. Hats out the gate, drops down. Has no idea about B Massacre there with the orb to drop in. And Alistair, 1v4, can't do it. Match point for Mousesports. My prediction would have been right in terms of smacking about the Renegades, but their individuals starting to show up. 15 to 13 going forward. Again, Renegades on a force back, need to grind this back to overtime. 2 rounds to get there. Double orbs in from Frozen and Akor that have worked so well for them so far. Of course, they're going to be buying into these last 2 rounds if we have to go there. ropz, M4 facing towards mid, sees nothing of the T side.
Yeah, Renegades starting to group up together, get the flash over the top of the broken wall just to clear out the angle, but look how much more passive it is over towards the B side. Dexter and ropz, we saw, or Dexter and Frozen, sorry, I should say, in that last round, playing up close and personal towards the sandbags and contact peak. This time around, so much more passive. B side XE underway.
Dexter is Frozen to shut it down for that first kill. Straight through back on a second man. Alistair can trade it. Malta following suit, straight back to the T-side line. Or now suppressed towards the corner and flanked out by the Mac-10. Inns holding in tree. 2 standing for Mousesports, and it looks like Renegades might still keep a lifeline here. 4-on-2 situation, and there's no way for Mousesports to retake this.
No, it doesn't look it, does it? There's so much money, they might as well just throw it in and see what more damage they can do to that T side. Akor's even been heard out from Inns. This should be an easy kill with the Tech 9. And Renegades get to 14-1 away from trying to bring it to overtime, Jay. What a round that was. So much more passive for the CTs over a B. The B side XE comes through. Malta, there is still one big more hurdle to go.
One more big round. If they can do it, then we really will be game on here. Both teams bringing the best out of each other. We go passive default for Renegades in this one. Boost up for the orb, trying to see if he can find an angle on the one player that was at Mexico. Couldn't see it, couldn't catch it, falls off and falls back. Still pretty aggressive towards brackets, but again, Renegades not willing to move here from top mid.
Being very, very passive. Very slow round. Finally now starting to take some banana control. Akor just waiting to see if he could deal with that lurk play that Malta has been sort of trying to pincer in round by round. Dry pig comes in. Oh, what a shot from Akor.
Now flashes in for the T side to get towards banana. Dexter holding back behind the sandbags. Dealing with hats. Can't get ins. Orpa Frozen. Has ropz right behind him. Holding fire, holding face. Anti-flash from the M4. Jump face out. Shoulder bait. Trying to get the Orpa to miss, but no. He fires in the midst of the flashbang. Fully blind. Gets that kill. And now ropz up on the flower pot. Looking above that smoke. Needs to get in 2 more kills. And Mousesports will cross the final hurdle. CeRq does get 1 to respond though. So the bomb plant can be secured.
2v3, what a post plant this is going to have to be for the Renegades. Mousesports have got so much utility behind them and no one coming in from banana. That smoke starting to dissipate out from CT. CeRq trying to play out for Nubox. There is a player posted on the right hand side, but he's trying to see if he can find himself a bit of an angle, and now there's a 2 versus 2.
That's a huge kill. Time's ticking, Mousesports moving up. Alistair and CeRq holding from 2 different sides of the back line. AK watching CeRq, peeks in, sees them both. Info called out. Alistair facing completely open and will go down to the USP. It's just enough time for the defuse, I think. And it looks like Mousesports will take it 16-14. Above Renegades, a struggle in the half, but the Europeans come out on top.